Hey y'all, and welcome to Monner's Market, and welcome to the Bloom with Grace Challenge. Today's Bloom with Grace Challenge flower is Mums, and my co-host is the red-headed crafter. I just want to thank her for being my co-host, and I'm going to show you a little bit about her channel, so make sure you go down to my description box and go to her link and show her some love. If you're not subscribed to her, go ahead and subscribe to her. So for now, let's get on into DIY number one. Look at this little stand. I love it. And it's really, really large too. So I'm going to use 2 of these trays from the Dollar Tree, 3 jars from the Dollar Tree, and some beads and some stands that I got from Hobby Lobby. I am going to paint everything with my white Waverly chalk paint, and that includes the stands and the beads that I'm going to put in between each of those trays, and I'm going to paint both of the trays. Now, to paint my beads, I'm just going to put a little dab, maybe a quarter of a teaspoon, if that, of paint down in my cup, and I'm going to stir it around a little bit, drop my beads down in there, and swirl them around, and voila, my beads are painted. Once I get them done, I could have just put them on the tray and dried them, but they had a little bit too much paint on them. I should have used a little bit less. So I just wanted to put them on here and just brush it down and make it a little more even. So once I got that finished, I painted both of my trays, and it took 2 coats of the chalk paint to cover them well because it's such a dark gold color. But let me tell you something, I did not want to cover up that tray because it was gorgeous. So once everything was dried and ready to go, I got my hot glue gun and started to assemble everything. Now what I did was I took one of the trays, flipped it upside down like you see, put my beads there, and then glued another tray, or the other tray, to the top of it after I put the little feet on the bottom. Then I started working on the tops of my jars. Now these flowers are from Sola wood flowers. They sent them to me and I love them. They are so beautiful, and these mums to me were just absolutely gorgeous, and I thought that would be perfect for my mums video. So I used them and some other random flowers, and look how pretty that turned out. And there is about $6, maybe $7 total in the whole thing, and I love, love, love the way these turned out. Make sure you leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about the way these turned out. And I just really want to thank Sola Wood Flowers again for sponsoring today's video and sending me those gorgeous, gorgeous flowers. You will see me working with them quite a bit from now on. These flowers can also be dyed. They sent me several bottles of dye, and I have not had a chance to dye any yet, but I can't wait to get into that and see how it turns out whenever you use the dye. So let's get into DIY number 2. That's this thankful sign. How cute is that with the little mums up in the corner? So I just took one of the beware signs from the Dollar Tree and flipped it upside down, took my ruler and drew some lines. I'm going in with the Merlot chalk paint from Waverly first, and then I'm going to go in and use the, let's see what color that is, pumpkin. Usually I'll show it to you. I must have forgot that time. And then after the pumpkin, we're going to do maize. These are all Waverly chalk paints. Then after the maize, I think I'm going to use moss. Yes. Now, I didn't really have a plan whenever I started doing this. I just kind of winged it. And then cashew. And then I just continue to do that until I fill up all of those lines. And then once I get all of the lines filled in with different colors, I'm going to go back in with my DecoArt Vintage Effects Wash. This is the same thing as the Waverly antique wax, but I was out of that, and this is the same thing, works just as good. Now I'm just doing some random lines right there between them. I do not want them straight. I want them sort of rugged and organic, as they say. Once I get that done, I'm going to take my white Waverly chalk paint and I'm just going to dry brush all over the top of it to distress it down and bring those colors down a little bit, because they are very vibrant and I did not want them very vibrant. So I'm just going to dry brush, and then this thankful sign that you can get from the Dollar Tree, which is really a good size sign, and it's made very, very good too. It's like, you know, just a decent sign. Anyway, I cover it in this white chalk paint. Now it did take 2 really good coats of the chalk paint, and look at these mums. These mums came from the Dollar Tree. Can you believe it? They have the most beautiful fall colors of mums. Every single season you can get mums in whatever the season colors are. Once I put them on there, I just added a little hanger with twine, and I covered the back. I'm not going to show you me covering the back in the craft paper, but I cover the back in craft paper, and then I go back and I just glue everything down. I put my thankful sign on and add my little flowers to it and the bow, and look how cute it turned out. Now let's get into DIY number 3, and that is this little truck sign. I guess you can't really call it a sign, but I took 2 of them and took a crate and glued the crate in between the 2 trucks. And then I go in with this Merlot Waverly chalk paint to paint the actual truck. That truck is so pretty with this color. Once I finish, I take the Merlot, I paint the whole entire truck, well, the truck itself in the Merlot. And then I'm going to go in with some other colors and paint different parts of the truck, like the fender wheels and fender covers, fender covers, what are those things called? Anyway, I'm going to do those in the Truffle chalk paint, along with the little wood part that looks like it's holding the pumpkins in the truck. And then I'm going to paint the pumpkins in what else but pumpkin Waverly chalk paint. I mean, come on, you got to paint a pumpkin with the color pumpkin, right? So anyway, I get my little pumpkins painted with the pumpkin Waverly chalk paint, and these colors are just so beautiful and bright and vibrant. Now this is black by Apple Barrel, just an acrylic paint. I couldn't find my ink chalk paint from Waverly, but this worked just as well. And I painted my tires. Once I got my tires painted, that I went in with that truffle I was telling you about, and I painted the little slats right there, and I painted the fender wheel covers. Once I got all of that done, then of course, you know, I have to distress everything. I'm going to go back in and distress the truck down, because these are all going to go together. Everything that I'm making today is going to go in the same vignette. So I'm going to be using them on my tablescape. Well, not the picture, of course, but everything else will be used on my tablescape for the fall. And I will have a video coming up on the 14th to show you, or I had a video that came out on the 14th. I'm getting too far ahead of myself. So if you want to go back and look, you will see what I did with these pieces and how pretty they turned out. So now I'm taking the cashew and I'm just going to go over and dry brush the whole thing and tone it down some and give it that sort of rustic look. And that's exactly what this truck needed. So then I'm going to take my foam that you get from the Dollar Tree, fill it with some moss and those gorgeous mums. Now, I did get a pic from the Dollar Tree that had mums and a pumpkin and a couple of other little things on there, some daisies or whatever, and that's what I used as my main flower for this truck, and it really turned out cute. And then I just added the other mums in there with that. But that pick was perfect because it already had a couple of different color mums in there. So I added the mums that I picked up that were loose, and that was it. Oh, no, it's not. I had this little pack of signs. It comes with 6 signs in the pack, and they're all fall holiday related. This one says farm fresh, which was perfect. So I just added a little stick to it so I could stick it down into the top of my truck, or, of my flowers. And once I did that, it was done, and I fell in love with the way this daggum thing turned out. I was so proud of it and thought it was so stinking cute. So I would love to hear what you think about this down in the comments below. Thank you for watching today. I'm going to go ahead and show you my final reveal. But before I show you that, let me remind you to go to the playlist, watch what everybody has done for you today, and leave us some love. I love that we're decorating for the fall already. So now we're going to get into the final reveal. Have a wonderful, blessed day. Stay safe. Bye now.